Hello, you're watching World Talks on TVP World. My name is Sascha Fahrbach. Protests in the Albanian capital of Tirana have entered their fourth consecutive night as thousands rally against a planned luxury tourism development on the country's protected Adriatic coast, backed by investors linked to Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner. The demonstrators say the €4 billion project threatens sensitive wetlands in the Vjosa Narta ecosystem and have rallied under the slogan, "Albania is not for sale," amid growing tensions over transparency, governance and environmental protection. Now, Albania's Prime Minister, Edi Rama, has signaled his support for the tourism project. Joining us now to discuss it all is Debora Kolgegaj, member of UNICEF and Albania's Adolescents Advisory Board. Good to have you with us. Welcome.
Hello.
Hi, Debora. So walk us through why, good to have you with us. So tell us why this particular project has been such a flashpoint, seeing so many thousands of people, young people, very angry.
Yes, Albania is experiencing a major wave of protests regarding this controversial luxury tourism development linked directly to Jared Kushner, but also Ivanka Trump and the government directed by Edi Rama. What is going on is that for the first time in my 21 years of life, it's the first time that youth is actually angry regarding an act that is not just political, but it's related directly to this lack of transparency that has been given to government with us, but also, I would say, also a usage of the environment in a total negatively way.
Mm-hmm. And also, it's interesting. I mean, you said this is a lot of young people. Tell us a bit more about, this flamingo symbol has come up. I think that's kind of interesting. So tell us how this all plays into it, and also just the scale of this project, right? Because it's not just one hotel of a few rooms. I mean, this is apparently 10,000 rooms, isn't it?
Allegedly, the value estimated is around 1.4 billion to 4 billion in money. And so what is going on is that people are protesting regarding environmental concerns that tend to damage protected wetlands, threaten bird migration routes. It's not just flamingos. It's also harm-nesting sea turtles, disturbing habitats used by Mediterranean monk seals, but also destroying dunes and coastal forests. So what is going on is that many protesters, youth, elderly, also I've seen kids around, claim that decisions were being made without sufficient public consultation, which is actually right. Environmental reviews were totally inadequate, and also local communities were not properly involved in this process. Information and approvals had not been fully transparent. I'd say have not been transparent at all. And a common protest, as you mentioned, a common protest slogan is Albania is not for sale, because some Albanians believe that these strategically important coastal areas should remain protected and accessible rather than being transformed into special, exclusive, luxurious developments. As mentioned previously, this project does not just propose just one hotel. It's luxury hotels, it's private villas, it's apartments, it's marinas and yacht facilities, but also tourism infrastructure that will totally create a sense of privatization through this area that's supposed to be not just protected by nature itself, but also protected by the government and by Albanian people, which is mainly the cause of why we as not just young people, but as a generation are actually disturbed.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned, Debora, lack of transparency there. One of the people on the sides of all this is the Prime Minister. I mean, Edi Rama has said that he supports this project, the government is behind it. He's saying that people are misinformed. How do you respond to that?
Well, I don't think people are misinformed. I think people are getting the actual information that is needed. I don't want to get political into this discussion, but I think that if you don't use media to portray what's going on in the city and what is going on in the country, that is a form of lack of transparency. And if you're willing to use media as a way to hide things that are going on, there must be something included. The controversy has expanded beyond these environmental issues. Critics actually argue that it reflects broader concerns about government accountability, land privatization, influence of wealth, foreign investors, and also rule of law in development projects. So I think that is not just a problem that it concerns environmental areas, but it's also more so of what the government is doing for us and how it's being portrayed in this sense.
Mm-hmm. I mean, at the same time, I mean, let's just go devil's advocate. I mean, this is a major project. There's a lot of money. There'll be a lot of jobs created for this. So, I mean, if this project doesn't go ahead, I mean, that's a loss of opportunity. So, how do you respond to that?
I don't think Albanians are not smart in that sense. We're willing to use tourism as a way to gain capacities, and not just in the labor market, but also in tourism, and how we can use Albania in the proper way. The thing is that we should use the lands, and we should use the part of Albania that does not necessarily have to be protected by nature. With this project, you're going to destroy natural environments. With this project, you're going to destroy places, landscapes that are actually beautiful as they are. And I feel like this is the point that we should focus on. It's not what we're building, is where we're building. And that is why we're mostly concerned as society, I think.
Now, you said what we're building and where we're building. Let's ask the question of who's building as well, because I think the role of Jared Kushner, the son-in-law of Donald Trump, the president of the United States, how much has this impacted, let's say, the reaction of people like you and young people and Albanians?
Well, I'd say one thing for sure: the Albanian youth is not that concerned about who's building. It's more what they're doing in our land. It's more so a sense of dignity and sovereignty, rather than a sense of how you're using land in order to create a private sector. There has been allegations that, as I previously mentioned, the total value has been roughly from 1.4 billion to 4 billion. And that is, of course, a good thing, because it's going to be a large tourist investment. But the investment is associated with this Kushner investment firm, Affinity Partners, and it's received special support from Albanian government through strategic investors. So this is a point that Albanians are not that clear on. And I feel like we as society need more information on, and why we're building in that certain space.
Mm-hmm. And this slogan you mentioned earlier, Albania is not for sale. I mean, this has also gone, in many cases, I believe, in Albania viral. I mean, how much has social media played into all of this?
Well, social media has been the main and most important factor in describing what's going on. As I previously mentioned, media has been quite, I'd say, one-sided in this situation. And so what's going on is that we're using platforms such as Instagram and TikTok in order to portray what's going on. A lot of youth especially are gaining access and are using these platforms to portray what the slogans, portray what the people that are going in the protests. What I wanted to mention is that this protest, unlike any other happening in Albania, it's not just a political act. We have seen young people, we have seen adults, we have seen elderly, we have also seen newborns carried by their mothers into the protests. Even, I'd say, dogs. We have also gotten dogs into protests with slogans. So it's totally an act of human and society in order to act on this decision.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, this is 4 nights already in a row. So what do you think, and for you and for people protesting, what is the outcome now? What would you like to happen? What happens next?
We would like a debate not going on in the Prime Minister's office. We would like a debate on the ground, and that is the most important thing. We cannot be, there are many voices that are acting for many, many other causes except the cause of Vjosanarta and the cause of Zbernet. So we would appreciate a debate going on publicly. But it's a point that at this certain moment we have not gotten any answer to, but I think the protests are going to continue. The protests are continuing not just in Tirana, not just in Albania, but there have been protests organized all over the world. I know a few that are being organized in Europe nowadays, and I also know a few that are being organized in New York, in America. Mm-hmm. So it's not just something that's going on locally, but it's going to be internationally.
Yeah, and I think this is also going to be my next question. I mean, sometimes these movements, they can have one pain point, one issue, and they can grow into something bigger. They may be something bigger. It may not just be about the wetlands and this development. So is this, in your mind, do you see this as maybe developing into something more? Is there something bigger that's wrong in Albania that you want to address with this?
Well, I don't want to create allegations regarding this situation, but I think that nowadays with this problem, people have gained much more conscious about what's going on. So definitely, I think that these protests are going to grow into something bigger. People are angry for many reasons, and the slogan has also been, if you're not protesting for Narta, you can protest for something else that you're worried about. So I've also seen causes that are not directly related to Narta, are maybe related to the environment. There are other places in Albania, such as the Real part, which is also the coast near the northern part of Albania. There's also been slogans regarding that. So the conflict is not just longer about a resort, it has become a test case for how Albania balances foreign investments, environmental protection, transparency, but also public participation in major development projects. And the outcome will definitely influence future tourism and coastal development policies across the country.
All right, so interesting stuff there. I mean, 4 days already of protests there for something very close to many people's hearts. Thanks for sharing that.
Last night was the 5th day, and today is going to be the 6th day, yes.
All right, so thanks for that, and we'll be watching it and keep reporting on it. Thanks so much, Debora Kolgegaj there from UNICEF. Thank you so much. And thank you for watching. That concludes World Talks, but stay right here on TVP World for more. Goodbye.